full. We commanding the block. Burgundy and gold got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome everyone to District Divide, DC Sports Podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Mammoth. That is K-Dot. This episode, we're going against the Philadelphia Eagles. The rematch, this time at our place at Northwest Stadium. We are 9-5. They are 12-2. We have a clinching playoff scenario. They have a clinching NFC East playoff scenario. It's a big game. So we're going to preview that. We're going to give our predictions. We got the common mailbag as we always do after the pod. We've got some playoff talk just before the preview of that game. And we begin with the All-22 review. But before we begin this video, if you could please like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Got another poem.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
To Philly we march with burgundy pride. Commanders united, we won't be denied. Fly high, fight hard. Let the truth be lit. Rise as one and share this shit. Share it.
Share it. Oh,
Please.
beautifully.
Share it. Share
Beautifully done. And before we get to this breakdown against the Philadelphia Eagles, we got to begin with the context, which begins with last week against the New Orleans Saints in that heart attack of a finish over there. And so we go to the All-22 review featuring our very own K-Dot.
It's the All-22 review, a District Divided. Bitches!
And here we go with it.
All right, All-22, I had to do some sacrificing this week. Okay, guys? I should be applauded for what it is I've done. You remember, what was it? Was it a week ago? I gave you my list of 49 movies?
Yes, the top 49 movies of 2024 for you.
It's up to 72.
All right. So the addition of you said up to 72?
Yeah.
The addition of the 23 movies, that's about 18 more movies than I've seen all year. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I've been depressed as fuck. All right, so it's just
here we go.
Movies and movies and movies. All right. All right. All-22. All right. Yeah, this fucking game. This was annoying. This was an annoying film. This was a nuisance. I did not enjoy myself going through the All-22 here with this. And I think everybody has the same things in their mind. Like, okay, 8 sacks. The fuck is up with that? Right? Running game. What happened to you? Defense. Did you do a good job? Did the wheels come off? What happened? I might have answers to all those things. Where would you like me to start?
Let's start with the quarterback and the offensive line.
Okay. So we'll start with the sacks. So there were 8 of them. 8 sacks.
Yep.
I did a breakdown on who's responsible for each.
Perfect.
For all of them, really. So I did a percentage breakdown, like a slice of a pie. Okay. The offensive line, you get 40%. You're responsible for 3 sacks. Jayden Daniels, you get another 40%. You're responsible for 3 sacks. Then outside of that, the receivers and the backs, 10%. 1 sack.
Receivers in the backs. Now, does that mean that they weren't getting open, not blocking? What do you mean by that?
I'm going to talk about all of it, man. We just got to share out the blame pie first, okay? And then coaching and play design, you get another 10%. All right? Everybody's getting a little piece of something here on this one, okay? Look, man. So you wanted me to start with the receivers in the backs. I think that's the one of you so I have them all listed, like who's responsible and what happened on and on. Mm-hmm. So from a play design receiver issue, sack 5, little combination of both play design and as far as receivers and the running backs. Okay. So sack number 5, this was at 1:48, the second quarter, 3rd and 10. It was the bootleg near the goal line that, I fucking hated. Right.
Yeah.
Ben Sennett was responsible for chipping Cam Jordan. He didn't really make any kind of contact. If you see it, it's very, very
so he didn't do his job.
He didn't do his job. But the thing that you got to ask yourself is why would you put Ben Sennett, rookie tight end, who's not necessarily known as the best blocker on the team? That's John Bates. Probably not as good a blocker as Zach Ertz. And he's responsible for getting rid of Cam Jordan on that near the
Well,
goal
New
line.
Orleans would never see it coming.
It didn't matter. Like, once Cam Jordan saw him coming, he was like, "Oh, this is not a problem for me."
Turnstile.
Absolutely. So it was like, but the expectation to have a rookie to block one of the league's like best edge rushers is kind of ridiculous. But Ben Sinnott, he failed at doing what he was supposed to do, so he takes responsibility. But you also got to give him some responsibility for the play call and play design itself. Sack number 4, the one right before it, that was 2 minutes. That was the 1st and 10 in the same quarter, and that was the route concept. Jamison Crowder, you could completely see he missed the adjustment he was supposed to make on the route. Jayden didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. Okay. So, and I know that was something that we had questions as far as like, what did the Saints defense do in order, maybe some of these sacks or anything were something like the Saints defense was just doing a really, really good job. Mm-hmm. And I'll talk about the Saints defense. Like, they did a pretty good job. They adjusted to some things as the game went on. They were showing some things that were giving the Washington offense a few wrinkles. You could clearly see as far as some of the designs that they were doing in what they were doing disguising coverages was definitely something that had Jayden a little gunshot to throw the ball. Okay. So we'll go to Jayden's responsibility as far as his sacks. So first sack number 1, the one that happened in the second quarter, first 10. It's Daniels holding on to the ball entirely too long. He's trying to make something happen downfield. Crowder is completely open in the flat, but he doesn't even look his way. So he's paying attention to one side of the field. New Orleans is doing a pretty good job covering that one side of the field. He's got somebody clearly open if he goes through all of his progressions. He doesn't, sort of panics, sort of leaks out. Chase Young takes care of business. Jayden, your fault. Okay. Sack number 3 in the second quarter, 1st and 10. Daniels, there's a clean pocket. No reason. It's off of play action. There's no reason to vacate. You don't need to leave. The pocket is completely clean. I will give that the Saints coverage was excellent, but he could have thrown it away. He could have done anything else. He takes the sack, and that counts against you. It's one of those things where, like, dude, I get that it was a zero yard loss, so it's like all things. But what do we want? Do we prefer a throwaway, or do we prefer him getting hit?
Oh, you're actually asking. Yeah, well, obviously we prefer the throwaway.
I just got to make sure that, like, on the last episode, we were trying to like get like, hey, it's a 0-yard gain. Who gives a shit? They didn't really lose any yards,
but it's still an unnecessary hit.
Yeah. Right? Like, it's one of those things where, dude, you could just get rid of the ball. Okay. And I think that's something that I was actually thinking about this, and I wanted to go through the actual tape to see if I ever. Do you remember him throwing the ball away?
No, he doesn't really throw the ball away.
Right? No. So it's just. Work on that putt, please, man.
Yeah, off season, just chuck it 50 yards out of bounds. Just practice that. But anyway, for now.
You kind of like, oh, wow, like Brokeback Mountain went ahead. I can't quit you. He can't quit the play, but he needs to sometimes, man.
Yeah.
He just needs to. And then the sack number 6 on the goal line play, he hesitated instead of throwing the ball away again. The Saints, they saw the bootleg coming immediately. Cam Jordan sniffed it out. It was one of those situations where you're talking about a 3rd and 1. I know he's trying to make a play happen. Like, that's one of those things where, like, I'll take that one more than I'll take the first down one. Like, if you're really trying to make something happen, it's 3rd down. Like, you get what you can. But also, if you're in field goal range, if you could get points, it's unnecessary. Sometimes you just need to live to play another down. And it also gets in that situation where I wish that this team had more philosophy in knowing that we were going to go for it on 4th down most of the time. Because if you have a situation like that, Jayden has absolutely no problem throwing it away if he knows that it's going to be 4th and 1.
We're getting another one.
Very good position. Yeah, exactly. Beyond that, the offensive line, everybody had some issues as far as this game when it came to that. And I'm going to stick to the passing and the sacks before we get into the run game because they're chiefly responsible as far as some stuff that happened in the run game. Sack number 2, Cosme, Wiley, the Saints did a pretty good job as far as the defensive line, like showing them wrinkles. They use a lot of stunts, and you could just tell this was Sam Cosme's worst game I've ever seen him play. That I can remember. And I haven't seen every Sam Cosme game in the All-22, so maybe there's something like in his rookie season or whatever that I didn't. But this was a particularly rough game. But this
season, it was noticeable that he had a rough game.
It was a rough game. It's just there was a lack of communication because Cosme and Wiley, they should be responsible in knowing who's going to pick up who on the stunt. And both of them looked dazed like afterward. I thought you were going to get it. I thought you were going to do it. And it's like, dude, really?
And so this could also be, again, Tyler Biotish being out, being that chief organizer, talking 100%. About miscommunications. So go ahead.
Yep, 100%. So, like, and the Biotish stuff, like, of course, that comes in when it comes to the center is responsible for doing some stuff when it comes to protection, changing some things. You could clearly see, look, Dieter's not a terrible player. He actually had some really good moments in the game too.
Admirable. Well, there you go.
But he's clearly not be a dash.
No,
okay?
no,
he's not our boy.
Yeah.
Right. He's just there. There's just absolutely. So, and you can absolutely see on that there's poor communication up front, which allows the stunt to work. And these guys don't know what it is they're supposed to do. On sack number 7, completely, you could say it's on Brandon Coleman. He overshot his angle. Chase Young took full advantage. Cosme also gets completely blown up by the stunt inside. He looks mad confused. Not something you usually see from Cosme. And there's no place for because Cosme gets beat and Coleman's getting beat around the side. Usually in that sort of situation, you'd expect if Coleman's getting beat, that Jayden could step up in the pocket to continue to make the room.
Right.
But because Cosme failed on the stunt, there's no place for him to go.
Tough game for Cosme.
Dead. Right. Okay. And then sack number 8, that's Andrew Wiley. He Daniels had the scramble lane. He saw that there was De'Ami Brown was open initially. He hesitated, not entirely sure why. So I kind of want to give it a little bit of Jayden, but Wiley gets beat so badly on this, you can't help but just say it's on Wiley.
Okay.
Like Jayden should have had more time to do what he needed to do.
Got it. Those are the sacks. What about just the overall play of Jayden? What did you see of that beside the sacks? And then let's get to the run game.
He's our franchise quarterback.
That's awesome.
There are things that he did in this game that's like, I don't want to call this his best game, but it might be his best game. Wow. There's some things that he's doing in this that it was like, because when I go through the sacks and I'm saying like 30% of them or 40% is responsible for Jayden, I'm like, it feels so harsh. And like, I even catch myself when I was looking at it, I was like, he would do something. I would just rewind and be like, yo, the fuck, man. Like, Jesus. Like the 4th and 1 where he turns the busted play into something. It's like, dude, he's clearly special. And there were certain angles he was taking with the ball. That ball to Terry in the end zone, man.
Beautiful.
That was insane. Like there was just stuff that was happening in the game where it was just like, dude, what the fuck? He's using his eyes to manipulate the safeties, doing it at a better level than he has at any point this season. So you're still seeing, here's a guy making absolute progress. Here's a team that offensively kept shooting themselves in the foot, especially up front. And it just couldn't come all together at any given point in time. So that's why when I said that I was frustrated after the pod last episode, I told you that I actually wanted to be meaner than I was in the podcast by how angry I was watching the game. And as I'm watching All-22, I understand why I felt that way. Everything never felt as though they got into a rhythm. It'd be like Jayden would do at most 2 great things in a row. And then something would unravel on that third thing in order to get any sort of momentum going. It would just always unravel. But there's even something else that I give Jayden a lot of shit for, which is checkdowns. And I even said in this game that I didn't know if he did enough of the checkdowns. There's one in particular that he hit on Benson on a 3rd down that I'm like, that's it, guy. That's it. You went through your progressions. I could see you clearly did it. You hit him. You get the 1st down. Like, that's the kind of shit that I want to see happening. That's what I want to see more of. I'll just put it this way. Every time that he did something wrong, he would do the right version of it later.
This was a game where I know watching Jayden, I felt like he was far and away the best player on the field on both sides. And he looked like he knew it. Like he looked very comfortable in his skin. I think that's one of the benefits of a bye week as well. You get to reflect, assess, rest, of course, go home and have a nice time at home and stuff like that. And also come back and go, okay, I belong, as if he didn't already know, but I belong. And you could almost feel that presence shift for him, which is cool to see. So that's Jayden. Any final thoughts there before we move to the run game?
He's special, man. There's no getting around it. Like he's a dude that we're going to be able to see continue to make progress if he's making it the same clip that he's making this time. It was just when you're picking apart this game, you're picking apart the All-22. It's just like the matter of like if you just did half of those things differently, if you did a third of those things differently, we're looking at something completely different. I mean, I didn't even mention like which everybody knows the missed opportunities like Terry, which were on both of them. If you look at it, right. They're all responsible for something along those lines. And it's like, dude, if you hit on one of those, we're looking at something different. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
So like, it's
career day for Terry
this close to just being like, yo, wonderful game. I'll even put it this way. If he hits one of those things, I feel completely different about what it is that I said about.
Oh, yeah. So, no, listen, one play can change everything, can change perception, can change from covering a spread to not covering a spread. Like one play can change everything, of course.
No doubt. But yeah, if they're going to continue to put the entire thing on Jayden's back, which is what this game felt like as we move into transition and talk about the run game, ain't going to be good.
Oh, absolutely. So on that, Brian Robinson, 21 carries, 65 yards. What happened?
Yeah, including the 20-yard run that was more of a pass, but it was a lateral, so they counted it as a run, but it was more of a pass. So
where he threw it backwards and he ran. Yeah, okay, right. So 20. So really, and I would pretend that's a reception because that was thrown backwards wide, almost like a screen. 20 carries, 45 yards. What the fuck happened?
2.2 yards, 5 yards carry.
Yeah.
Right? Biotish. If there was one word that I would use to sum up what went wrong with the run game, and I know that's going to sound crazy to everybody, is like, how could that one guy be responsible for so much? It's because this is where we get to Dieter. Look, Dieter did some things in the pass blocking that was like, he pancaked a couple guys. Like, he was doing some shit. Like, there was every once in a while Dieter would do something like legit. And then you'd also have moments where there's the GT counter in the first quarter. And Dieter's just on the wrong side.
Oh, okay. So fair enough. Lack of game time is what we'll call that.
It's just like everybody's moving this way. He's just, I'm going there. Like, the defender's like, you're not gonna block me? Okay.
Like, tough to run when your center doesn't know which way to go. Okay.
It was rough. And then you add on top of that, Cosme just didn't have a good game. Like, even when Cosme's like doing a good job pulling or whatever, you can usually count on him being the dude that if you look across the line, he's the one that gets the push. Wasn't there. Okay. It's just an off day. And maybe that's the bye week. We talked about it, right? These guys have been on since July, August. You shut it off and you got to turn it back on. Sometimes it can be a lot. This seems like such an anomaly for Cosme. I would never anticipate being like I wouldn't anticipate seeing this again for quite some time for him. I don't think he's broken now, right? I just think it was a particularly bad game. And once again, New Orleans defense is not terrible. They're pretty fucking good. And they got some dudes, right? They just haven't put it together all the course of the season. But I mean, if he plays anything like he played last week,
we're in big trouble this week if that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah. But beyond that, Coleman not having the right angles, they try to move into more. You can see Kliff is trying to figure things out with the run game, right? He's running the counter stuff. He starts running some of the sweep stuff. He starts doing some zone running, which we haven't done as much, but we're trying to get into more of it, right? Coleman, terrible angles when it comes to some of the zone running. It's like, you didn't get that. You need more practice with it. It's just, when it comes to those styles of runs, it's very imperative that you have an offensive line that's able to learn a bunch of different techniques and a lot of what to look for instinctually.
So less B-Rob, more offensive line, I'm hearing.
Yes. I don't think, and this is where it goes back to you. I don't give a fuck who it was back there. I don't give a fuck who it was back there. They weren't going to see daylight. Unless you had somebody that could run 4.2 speed on the outside, like just run past the play. Like,
no, I'm glad you said this because I know one of my criticisms was, hey, we gave the ball to Brian Robinson 21 times. That's great, but we only gave it to McNichols twice and Chris Rodriguez once. And now you saying, hey, we got Dieter going the wrong way. Cosme's having an off day and Brandon Coleman just not disciplined enough with his lanes. We're not getting daylight with anybody. Reassures me that, okay, hopefully with Biotish back, Cosme not having his worst day of the year with some of the rust off, that we should be able to get back to running the way we do. Do you have faith in that, or are you worried?
I think that Tyler coming back is pretty much everything. I haven't seen them do this season so far, right?
Okay.
I really do think that, like, I don't want to pile on Dieter. Once again, he did something. Like, you can clearly see he's a backup. He's a backup. He's a backup for a reason. You could have him in spot opportunities. It was just, this was not the game you wanted to have from him. But Allegretti got beat up. Cosme got beat up. Wiley got beat up more in pass than it was in rushing. Coleman did things wrong as far as technique goes. So it was like across the board, anything. Part of me thinks if Derrick Henry was fucking back there, he wouldn't have been able to see any daylight.
Wow. Yeesh. Well, all things considered, on offense, Jayden Daniels put the team on his back. And especially against the New Orleans pass defense is pretty good. He had a passer rating of 118.5. That would rank as number 1 against the New Orleans Saints this season. Rookie quarterback on the road, no big deal. Does his thing. Any final thoughts here before we flip to the defense and then get to the preview?
Credit to the Saints. I've overlooked a lot of those guys. I think they're shit, whatever. That defense, they were playing their asses off. Like from an effort standpoint, whatever it is they were trying to disguise or anything, like I look at that team, I'm like, it's a shame you guys have the record you guys have. Because it's like, do you see on defense? I'm like, that's the kind of spirit and shit you want to see. Like the Chase Young clips that you see on Twitter every once in a while, that was not this game. It wasn't this game. I don't know if it's because he was playing against us that he had that extra chip, but all his motherfuckers were balling out. Tyrann Mathieu balling out. Kyle Grant balling out. Cam Jordan balling out. Like those dudes came to
Brzee balling out. Yeah,
bro, they came to play. So like I give Washington credit to some degree that we were still able to win this game with how well they were playing, how lack of execution we were doing as far as what we were doing offensively, but it is what it is.
All right, defense.
Not gonna be that long. This is where the frustration reaches its peak. The defense was great. It was great. It was really good. Jake Haener sucks, but it wasn't just him. They shut shit down. And also there were some points New Orleans missed some shit that was clearly there on Haener. Sometimes it was on the wide receivers. It happens. Yeah. But the defense did a good job. If I say, okay, well, what happened at the end? I could count on maybe one hand the amount of shit that happened that just snowballed into absolute abject fucking failure. It's you miss something on third down, keeps the drive going. Here's a penalty on third down, keep the drive going. It's all that sort of shit. I didn't see anything they were doing schematically that completely changed anything. I didn't see anything that New Orleans did. All right. New Orleans gets a little bit of credit as far as in the second half, what they adjusted to as far as more quick passing and relying on the run in different ways than they were doing earlier just to try to generate something. So they were trying things, right? But I don't think it was anything drastic. I still think Washington was doing a damn good job protecting or covering that stuff. More of like a bend but don't break sort of situation, which is we know that this defense is going to have those moments, right? We can't stop everything. We're not that talented.
Yeah, but why can't we stop the run in the fourth quarter?
I think it's a demoralization thing. I do think it's a psychology. I think it's a psychology thing.
Oh shit. Okay.
I think it's, but it's the thing. It was like I think it's these guys do everything so right, then have something really stupid continue a drive, and they're in their heads.
Okay, got it. So, which I guess kind of makes sense because like they're having fourth quarter issues. Initially speculated that it was fatigue. It could be mental fatigue, where now it is, okay, something's gone wrong. Here we go again. Snowballs. Okay.
It snowballs. And I give credit to Joe Witt. They did some things defensively that we haven't seen this year. They like Marshawn Lattimore, who we got to talk about at least a little bit. Everybody talked about like how they didn't say his name, and that's true. I am actually kind of surprised. There were some opportunities to attack Lattimore in this game. They just didn't even look his way. So the power of Marshawn Lattimore's just name and them knowing who it is in New Orleans. There were a couple times I was like, oh, no, throw it his way. You can do that. Throw it his way.
This is his first game back. I mean, we over-respected Deron Bland, if you remember. It was his first game back, and Terry didn't touch the ball until way too late. So it happens.
So it's like the aura of Marshawn Lattimore is what did it. It's like it just kept one side of the field or wherever he was covering just off balance. But there were moments, there was like a couple plays where they only had one corner out. It was just Marshawn. Like,
wow.
They had three safeties and a bunch of linebackers. It was just Marshawn. I'm like, the fuck is that? Like, I'm like, they were. This felt like some mad scientist type shit from Dan Quinn and Joe Witt. So I was like, if this is a taste of what is to come with Marshawn Lattimore being here, things could get really, really cool. The problem is that mental fatigue, whatever the fuck is going on. We have Philadelphia this week. Remembering Philadelphia putting that 20 on us in no time the last time we fucking played.
It took some time, but point taken.
We got to get some things figured out. There's just, even if you do get, there was the one series where after Benjamin St. Juste fucks up and after Dante Fowler fucks up and Fowler still gets to stop and tackle for loss in the run.
Right.
It's like, that's what you need to do. You need more of those moments. Stop it. Just stem the loss. Like, stop. Just get your shit together. Stop it. Don't be down on yourself because you can see the body language starts to change. It's the only thing I can make sense of as far as what's happening in the fourth quarter. It literally is the only thing that makes any sense.
Well, we talk about body language and moments. Any final thoughts there, Kate, before we flip over to quick playoff top and then the preview?
lot of good, a lot of bad. Got to play better than that overall. Just we go back to the same word. It's like the word of the year: execution.
Yeah, execution, and a win's a win. And so that was the All-22 review featuring our very own K-Dot. And thank you for it. Before we begin the preview, we need to look over the playoff picture because the Atlanta Falcons ended up winning on Monday night, moving them to 7-7, a game back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But they make a quarterback change anyway. So Kirk Cousins now to the bench. Michael Penix, who I'm very, very high on, and Ken, I believe you're quite high on as well, is coming in. Yeah, we'll get to that. So quick recap: Green Bay 6th seed at 10-4. The Commanders 9-5. Got Philly, of course. The LA Rams on a roll. They get to go to the New York Jets. The Seahawks host Minnesota. The Cardinals at Carolina. Tampa in an interesting spot there at Dallas, who got a nice win against Carolina. And of course, the Falcons, who we just mentioned, starting a rookie quarterback in Michael Penix at home against the New York Giants. We do have a playoff clinching scenario. It is as follows. If we beat Philadelphia, if Atlanta loses to New York, and either the LA Rams lose to the Jets or Seattle loses to Minnesota, we are in the playoffs. So that is the quick run through of the playoff race. K-Dot, how are you feeling about it right now from where we're at with 3 games to go?
I will never look at playoff scenarios. They hurt my brain.
That's why I'm here. That's why we do. That's why we got 2 people on the show. You did the All-22. You look at the film.
I get it. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate you trying to understand all this shit. I'm old school. Okay, win your fucking games, get in the playoffs. Okay, I don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just win your fucking games.
In that case, it's an absolutely perfect segue. K-Dot over to this week where we play against the Philadelphia Eagles in a game. Just go win, okay? But we got to begin with the injury report to set the context, as we always do. And let's go ahead and begin with us. So we have the injury report up through Thursday. There is an illness going around. So whatever got Tyler Biadasz, I think it's probably safe to assume it's getting some other people. So both John Bates and Sam Cosmi not practicing. I would anticipate it's enough time, because it's happened right now, that they'll be able to play on Sunday. Felt like Biadasz, it just sort of came up on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and it was just too much. So hopefully they have enough time to recover. And then we have Dante Fowler not practicing, but says rest. So we'll see what happens over there. Tons of people limited. How about Jonathan Allen? We've opened up the 21-day window for the Pro Bowl defensive tackle. Would be great to get him back. John Keim speculating potentially next week, not this week, but potentially next week. So something to monitor there. Zach Ertz also limited with the concussion. Jeremy Chin limited with the concussion. We'll see about that. And Zane Gonzalez back to full practice. Congrats to him and his wife. They just had a kid. So that's our side of things. And now we look at the Eagles, where they actually went through a walkthrough. That's why you see the 2 little stars next to Wednesday, the 2 asterisks right there. All those DNPs are estimated. They all basically got a rest day. They're all back. So they're good to go. Sidney Brown's the only name we're unsure of right now with the concussion. But we will continue to monitor as they go. They were late with their injury report, probably because they're fucking terrified of this matchup. So that's the injury report. And now we go over to Jayden Daniels, Kliff Kingsbury, this Commanders offense against that Philadelphia Eagles defense. Now, of course, we've already played them once before. We played them on Thursday Night Football. Short week, didn't go well. K-Dot, over here, how are you attacking this Philadelphia Eagles defense the second time around?
Don't do the mistakes you did last week.
It's a good start.
It's a good start. And you know what? And I'm going to remember this week. I'm starting with the keys. Let's see if I give a fuck about them now. Okay, so watching offense, passing versus no pressure. That's a weird stat. Passing versus no pressure. I guess they're good.
Yeah, Eagles win, huh?
I mean, they win, but do I care about that? Because we're pretty high on that too. Yeah. They give them a 4-star advantage. I don't like that. I just think that's a little out of whack. No,
you know what? Maybe these keys are full of shit. Because I've got another quick fact for you, K-Dot. I'm starting to dive deep into. Oh yeah, is there something else you wanted to say? No, just like let's dive in deep into these numbers going, okay, Philadelphia Eagles, right? They're good on defense with both the run game and the pass game. Very good at allowing a low passer rating against teams and also stopping the run. It's around 4.2, 4.3 yards per carry, except if you run in the left tackle area, left end area, okay, so those deeper, wider gaps over there, you can get after them. So if you're running after Josh Sweat, you could do it. Guess what we did the last time we played against him? Ran up the middle. Guess where they're best? Up the middle. So I think this time, and next time I'll have a graphic for it, guys, but this time, maybe look to exploit that. I think it could be quite nice. And Jayden, opportunities. If you scramble left, maybe just take off. Maybe just take off. So just a little nugget there is that left side, the Eagles can be had. So that's going to be towards Coleman. It's going to be towards Allegretti. Like that might be the side you want to exploit this week. Go ahead, kiddo.
Run the ball to the left.
To the left, to the left. Yeah, exactly.
Don't do that.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about Terry and the Jack.
Oh, man, I forgot all about that now.
I thought about that, and so then I just did that, and so yeah.
All right. Look, execution's got to be on the top of the list. All right. So, like, if I'm looking up from an offensive line standpoint, before we can manage to do anything offensively, these guys better be better in every aspect of blocking than they were last week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give New Orleans a bunch of credit as far as them having dudes on the team. This is a different ball game. Okay. You cannot have the same mistakes and miscues you had last week against New Orleans and expect anything good to happen in this game. I'm not afraid necessarily of the New Orleans Saints players getting their hands on Jayden. I am kind of afraid of Philadelphia Eagles players getting their hands on Jayden. Jalen Carter has malicious intent. Okay. Like these dudes don't fuck around. Okay. There's no fucking around. Do I think most of that gets addressed because Tyler Biadasz comes back? Absolutely. Do I look at the last game that we had and remember all the excuses that we kind of had? Was Jayden 100% healthy? It was a short week. Blah, 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 blah. Well, apparently, we're the Goldilocks of rest, right? Can't be too long. Can't be too short. Gotta be just right, okay? So maybe this is what it is we need. It's like the perfect amount of time before this particular game. Yeah, you gotta do pass pro but better than you did in this game. Cosme, get it together, get all these motherfuckers together. But I think Biadasz just being able to call out what protections we really need. You're not gonna have the same mistakes and miscues you had in this game. So that's just step one. Just basic. You have to do this, otherwise nothing else is gonna work, right?
Right.
Number two, along your lines, if we're gonna be running the football, I want to see a lot of what it was, even though it didn't work last week. I will give you that. But what I saw from Kliff Kingsbury was a desire to introduce new ideas to try to get something going, right? This is what I think you got to do in this game. I love the idea of running to the left. I think maybe that's going to be your bread and butter as far as where you have the success. But my thought is you got to throw everything at them. I want them to have no idea where the run's coming from at any given point in time. You got to keep them off balance. Anything you can do to just slightly put it in your favor. Yeah, sorry, brain just.
You're good.
We've done it in certain points of the past. Maybe the personnel groupings aren't necessarily different, but what you run out of him are, right? You got to do that. You got to run different things at him. Keep the defensive line a little off kilter and not knowing where it is that they need to figure out to put their players to stop the run game, right? And if they do, they overload one side. Let's do something else. Be able to change it up, switch it up. And then the other part, as far as from a Jayden standpoint, boom, bat has got to be a thing, okay? This pass rush, even if everything that I said works out, they're still going to get there. They are still going to get there. So I'd say 2.5 seconds. That's your time limit, Jayden. Ball needs to be gone.
Might be less than that because, again, you mentioned Jalen Carter. Yeah, because you mentioned Jalen Carter, and he's already in the discussion for best defensive tackle after Aaron Donald retired in the NFL. So, again, and I don't think I put any numbers on it. I just said to the left and got excited about it. But that's around 6 yards a play to the left that you can get. So that's a pretty large area to exploit. That could also be a quick, like, wide receiver, little jet sweep. That could be over for De'Ami Brown. That could be for Olamide Zaccheaus. That's a nice way to get them involved early as well. And it immediately gets you away. That was the other point around left tackle, left end. away from Jalen Carter. So that's a way to get him out of the game, slow that pass rush down, is to go left and right a little more than we want to. So if you do that, that's important. And this time when we play against the Philadelphia Eagles, if we could not wait till, late in the third quarter for Terry to get his first target, that would be great. So continue, Kliff, getting Terry involved early, because this team goes as he goes. And so it's very important that early on we let a Quinyon Mitchell, a Darius Slay, or Cooper DeJean know, hey, you're at our place now, and this is our guy, and there's nothing you can do about it. It is that important from a willpower standpoint to give him the ball early.
No doubt. Like Terry, like what it was stat line last, one catch, 10 yards, right? On 2 targets.
Something like that. Yeah.
This is line them up everywhere. Once again, this has got to be more of a horizontal, spread them out, not entirely sure what's happening or where the attack is coming from, and then do it that way. Also, when I talk about the boom bat, there is opportunities to throw this ball on the Philadelphia Eagles, and it's in those intermediate area, in the middle of the field. Their linebackers aren't great in coverage. They're just not. You're going to have opportunities there, which then leads you to, all right, is Zach Ertz a go? Probably not. So, Ben Sinnott, here's your opportunity, son. Luke McCaffrey, here's your opportunity, son. Like, it's going to be one of those games where I've been calling for it. We need another wide receiver to really step it up. We need another guy to step it up. And not step it up in the screen game, not step it up in a bomb. I need you to step it up across the middle. I need you to be able to break a tackle, hit something. I need you to be able to be surefire with it. I need you to see where it is in the zone. You can sit and get Jayden a good look for him to deliver the fucking football to you, okay? I need to see pure maximum fucking effort. There are times when I'm watching the All-22, and it feels as though some of our guys, as much as they might block really well, when they get to the end of their route, instead of looking for a way to help out the quarterback, they're more just like, I just got a ticket to watch this game. And they're just kind of watching shit happen, okay?
I did my part.
Hey, yeah, I wonder what he's going to do this time. I don't think it's coming my way, right? Like, we got to keep it moving. We got to keep it going. And then above all else, I do think in this particular game, something we did not see in the other game, Jayden on the ground has got to be a thing.
Yep.
It's got to be a thing. So work those sidelines, son.
And to that point, kid, and it's a big one. He's healthy this time, because last time, you remember, we dropped the Kaylee Hartung clip of her saying that he had that carbon fiber wrap, and that, later on he was like, to keep it warm. I haven't heard shit about it since he started running elusively again. So it looks like he is fully 100% good to go again. And like you said, there are opportunities on the ground for Jayden as well, opportunities through the air. People may be curious about the snap counts or snap percentages with Noah Brown out. De'Ami Brown, the big winner there. He was the number 2 wide receiver last week, followed by Olamide Zaccheaus. Jamison Crowder immediately coming back, more snaps than Luke McCaffrey. So it seems like Luke McCaffrey, unless he makes a play or two, I'm talking catching here, like actually getting a big reception, it seems like his breakout is just going to keep waiting until that one moment, and then Kliff is going to put him in more. So we got to wait until that moment occurs for Kliff to go, all right, I want to use him more. But that's just a quick snap breakdown from last week without Noah Brown.
No, 100%. And there's the Luke McCaffrey of it all is earlier on the season, there were a lot of times where he was just open. But Jayden, I don't think, was enough through his progression as a rookie quarterback to know how to take advantage of certain things. He's still even working on that, I will admit freely. But I am not, while I do see guys open more, I'm not going to say more than they used to be. I'm still seeing guys open, which is why I still say Kliff Kingsbury's offense is working. Okay. But the execution of it, I put that on Jayden needs to pull the trigger. Like you trust what you see pre-snap. I think the only person that I see in this offense that he absolutely trusts pre-snap is Terry.
Right.
And I think the secondary guy, I don't even say it's going to be Zach Ertz, because I think a lot of the Zach Ertz stuff is stuff he's seeing with his eyes after. I don't think it's stuff that he's just like, fuck it, I'm just going to go there. And I think it's because he's had so much success with Terry and he hasn't had it with the other guys. Maybe it's because Terry calls his own shot. Maybe because everybody knows he's clearly so much head over heels, like better than anybody else, that he could just trust it. But he needs to develop the trust. Like I kept hearing about all this offseason shit, or during training camp, about how him and Luke were working together. I have not seen that come to pass in the football game.
Yeah, not quite the breakfast club that Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp had together the first season. Those two were united for the first time. Want to also say De'Ami Brown, when the ball's been thrown his way, he seems to be making plays. So Yeah, I wonder if you give him 1 or 2 extra ones, see if he can handle it, because so far he has. And also, KJ Osborne, how much is he going to play this week? Again, we picked him up off waivers. We'll see what happens over there. He is not the best at creating separation, so he's just one of the guys like everybody else. But contested catches, this guy, if it's near him, he's going to catch it. So that's what he's really, really good at. So any final thoughts, Kate, before we move over to the other side?
Yeah, it does feel like it's going to be one of the other wide receivers, not necessarily Luke McCaffrey, as it seems as though his special team snaps are increasing as well.
Yeah.
We just need somebody to really be the surefire guy. I think Noah Brown was at a particular point in time during the season for Jayden. It was like, okay, he's probably the second most reliable guy we have. Zacchaeus very early on looked like he was going to be the dude, and that kind of went away, and he still has his moments every once in a while.
But
we just need another playmaker.
Well, a golden opportunity for Ben Sinnott, because while Zach Ertz is recovering from concussion protocol, limited in practice, sure, John Bates with the illness, so you're going to end up seeing that Ben Sinnott got some first-team reps with these guys. So anyway, we will go ahead and see what happens there. Let's go ahead and flip the script. I believe K-Dot is maybe frozen right now. But we have the Commanders' defense against the Philadelphia Eagles offense. And while we wait for K-Dot to come back, I will go ahead and jump into my key over here, which is that Jalen Hurts is the second most sacked quarterback from a percentage standpoint. So if you can get Jalen Hurts into second and long, into third and long, you are going to be able to sack him, and you are going to be able to create an even more disadvantageous situation. So how do you do that? You stop Saquon Barkley. And to our credit, the first time we played against Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, his final stat line was 26 carries for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. I remember that. But through 23 carries, it was just 75 yards. Did a fantastic job against Saquon Barkley and created situations where the game was really, really tight until the very end. And finally, the dam broke loose. So you need to be able to contain Saquon Barkley, just like we did last time, guys, just like we did last time. And then have Jalen Hurts in a situation where he's in an obvious passing situation. And then once again, that 9.5% drop back sack rate is the second highest in the NFL. Looking forward to seeing what K-Dot has to say when he returns. But that is my main key over there. In the meanwhile, the drama in Philadelphia is awfully interesting as well, because A.J. Brown complains to the media and then ends up getting exactly what he wants, which is more targets. He scores against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now is there going to be a bit of a shift for that offense? It's interesting. We're going to go ahead and see if that ends up happening for them. And if they start throwing more than running, certainly hope they do that, because if they do, then we're in a much better position. I do not want Saquon Barkley running this ball. We will go ahead and see what happens. And now let's see. Okay, Dot might be reaching out. And he'll be back online in just a moment. But if the Eagles are throwing more than running, guys, we're in a really, really good spot. A.J. Brown against Marshawn Lattimore is going to be fun to watch. Does Marshawn travel with him? Or do we trust Mike Sanders still enough, who also played very well against Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown last time out against these guys, and let Marshawn be on one side of the field and let Mike Sanders still be on the other side of the field? But they can win. They can absolutely win against these two. Mike Sanders still did a great job last time. The dam just fell through. That was that interesting coaching decision where we decided to go for it after a 2nd and inches to 3rd and 1 to 4th and 2. Didn't convert the 4th and 2. It was a shame. And then that's how the Philadelphia Eagles ended up winning the game. Cool. We're going to wait for K-Dot to come back on now. All right. So our Commanders defense against this Eagles offense. K-Dot, what do you make of this matchup? How would you attack this Eagles offense this time around?
I'd make sure that everyone in Philadelphia took care of their electrical bills, whatever the fuck's going on, to make sure they don't have.
They were worried about what you were going to say.
Fucking motherfucker! God damn it. Okay. So, yeah. You know what? I'm assuming you did a monologue, so I'm just gonna assume that what you said was like really, really smart shit. And you probably alluded to how Philadelphia's a fucking wreck, and the coach is probably crying somewhere right now out of fear that they're going to lose to us.
It's like you were there.
Yes, because this is the side of the football that they have the issue. What the fuck?
You're there.
Did I go away at all for you?
No.
You went way on my side. I don't know what's happening anymore. Motherfucker. All right.
I see you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Pulling back the curtain. My internet sucks today. God damn it. All right. Fuck. This side of the ball, they're all stupid. All right? This is, regardless of how well things are going, they still can't get out of their own fucking way, right? Jalen Hurts, right after the game, right? Press conference. That's what you guys all wanted to see? Stop bitching, asshole. You won. They're a mess. If you're winning this many games, 2 years in a row, and you're still bitching to the media, you fucked up. If I know that within your locker room, you're still listening to everything outside the locker room, and it's
Oh, now you froze.
influencing what's happening inside the locker room, you said they might kick our asses. So, Jalen Hurts is a problem. Saquon Barkley. Number one, Marshawn Lattimore. Yours. He's yours. Wherever he goes, you're going. All right? That's your job now. I'm not going to see Mikey Sanders still on him. Benjamin St. Juice, stay the fuck away from A.J. Brown. Marshawn, it is your responsibility. If you can take that guy and eliminate him from the game, we're in a good position. If you can't, we're back to where we were a few weeks ago, which is still possibly able to beat the fucking Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Right.
All right. Beyond that, Noma, because I think the internet's back for sure, so I'll calm down just a little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Outside of AJ and Marshawn, we all know Saquon Barkley is what makes everything go. We did a pretty good job early on against Philadelphia last time that we played, as far as keeping Saquon kind of contained, at least to some degree, until the end of the game where it just...
Those final 3 carries back.
Oh, my God. Yeah. He just destroyed us at the end, right? You kind of want to do the same thing. Whatever it is that was working as far as stacking the box up against him, making sure that Saquon's... It's just got to be surefire thing. Saquon's going to get his. You got to understand it. You got to know that. Everybody watching, he's going to get his in this game, okay? What you want is for him to get a lot. What you want is for them to start fighting on the sidelines and he's getting it. AJ's not getting it because Marshawn should be frustrating him, right? And as long as we keep what it is we need to do defensively, the Saquon can't break that 50-yard run. He can't break that 70-yard run. We're in a good place. Outside of those things, we also, from a Jalen Hurts standpoint, if this season was a little less so top-heavy with some of these guys that are in MVP running, Jalen Hurts, just from a number standpoint, will probably be in the conversation. What is he able to do on the ground, especially with touchdowns and first downs and shit, right? Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, one of you guys, your responsibility, make sure that cocksucker cannot leave his pocket. He can't run past the line of scrimmage. You're doing everything you can to keep him contained into his little box, okay? You got to keep him there. You got to eliminate or make sure that Saquon's not getting more than 4 yards, 5 yards of carry as best as you possibly can. You bait Jalen Hurts to try to beat you with his arm. We can potentially do something if that's what happens.
Yeah. Make Jalen Hurts beat you. Don't know if you're keeping the monologue or not, so I'll quickly regurgitate what I said, which is that Jalen Hurts' second highest sack percentage in the NFL, believe it or not. So he doesn't always drop back, but when he does, he's susceptible to being sacked. So if you can get him into 2nd and long, if you get him into 3rd and long, which is as simple as an incompletion, and also what you did against Saquon early on in the game last time, if you're able to replicate that performance, you are going to get a Jalen Hurts that listens to the media and is pressing. So it's going to help you. On the subject of Marshawn Lattimore against A.J. Brown, it is an exciting matchup. We finally have that lockdown corner. I also expressed a lot of faith in Mike Sanders still, because last time he went against both these guys, he made plays against both of them. So if you want to keep Marshawn on one side where he's more comfortable, that's fine with me. You don't need to travel with AJ, in my opinion. I think Mike's that good. Like, if you really want to, you can, but you don't have to, in my opinion. And I'm not sure Joe Witt is actually going to make him travel with AJ. We'll see what happens over there, but stop Saquon first and foremost, quite obviously. But you did a good job of it defense last time. And then if you get Jalen Hurts in obvious passing situations, believe it or not, pin your ears back, you can sack the guy. So those are the keys on this side. Make Jalen Hurts beat you. That's it.
Yeah. Look, the Marshawn Travel, AJ, I like everything that Mike has done. I like
Yeah.
Sanders still has been one of my favorite players on the team. I'm more about pull your weight, Marshawn. Like, that's all I'm saying. Last week you ran cardio because they didn't even throw your way. Woo, they're scared of you in New Orleans. We need you to be scary. Okay. We need you to be scary now. That's all I want to see. I want this to be your statement game. This is what I want. I want this to be your statement game that gets us on that road to success as far as what we need to do. We talked about it before everything went to fucking hell when it came to my internet. We are control our destiny, right? Win the goddamn games. Also, because of the yellow mess and everything, I forgot about the keys, but they're not great. So
yeah, that's why we didn't really talk about them. Yeah, that's
not great,
exactly
right?
right.
So, like, look, in order to have anything work for us to be in this game, because I don't want to be in a situation where we're having to shoot it out with these dudes. That's not what you want to do.
No.
The defense has to play damn near perfect. The third down, lack of execution, the penalties, the busted coverages, the lack of communication stuff. You can't do it. You can't do it. And I give them credit. The first Philadelphia game, I think the first three quarters, and mostly from a Philadelphia standpoint, you say, well, why were they losing? Jake Elliott, probably more than anything.
But
But
he also missed a couple against us. Yep.
So, but they still did a good job. We did what we needed to do as far as keeping the score low to keep us in the fucking ball game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to have that sort of masterclass again. I remember Frankie Louvu had himself a hell of a day last time. We need that sort of stuff. We need that stuff. We need playmakers to step up. We need dudes to take care of their responsibilities as best as you possibly can. It's the only way you're going to stop this juggernaut of a fucking team that's on a double-digit win streak and looking like the only thing that's going to be able to stop them is themselves.
Hottest team in the NFL. And with that, let's go ahead and get to the predictions here. And as you can see, Eagles 12-2, Commanders 9-5, K-Dot 9-5. I am 8-6. And the spread here, the Commanders are 3.5 home. Not favorites, but underdogs. 3.5 point underdogs at home to the Philadelphia Eagles. The over-under is set at 45.5. K-Dot, as always, I need a score. I need a winner. And I need a player of the game.
Philadelphia has looked absolutely unstoppable at certain points this season. I think that they are, pretty easy to say they're the best team we faced all season, and we had to face them twice, right? The only other, Baltimore's not in the conversation just because of what their defense can't do, right? So, it's definitely Philadelphia. And you look at what happened in the first game. The score was close for the most part of it, but I even was looking back at my notes last time, and I said, this actually felt a lot more like a shellacking than anything else. It just felt as though it was kind of nonsense that the score's close. There is nothing that I've seen from our football team the last few weeks that makes me believe that we can do anything to stop Saquon Barkley, that we can do anything to stop Jalen Hurts and what they're going to do offensively, but mainly the Saquon Barkley piece of it. Because like I said, I thought that if Tony Pollard had more carries, he would have had a better day. And we saw what happened in the Saints game when the game started going on and we had to worry about both the pass and the run. We started giving up the run. So with all that said, 24-20 Washington.
Ooh.
The reason I can do this is I don't mind us having the same record. If you look down at the bottom right, we'll all be together. Look, I have faith in this team. I think that last week was not. I keep looking at that tape from last week, and I think Biotish being out and just the sloppiness of it. I do think that bye week. And it sounds so stupid in the sense of okay, well, they had rest in this, or they really, really needed rest. I just think that you need to get in a rhythm. And I think this game at home, it's going to be a hell of a crowd. Let's get it. Let's win. Player of the game, Terry McLaurin.
Okay. So 24-20 Washington, player of the game, Terry McLaurin.
Absolutely so wrong.
K-Dot, this is looking longer term here for this season. If you have any true playoff aspirations in terms of doing anything in the playoffs, this is a must-win game. Okay, because if you look at the teams we've played against and beaten, none of them are playoff teams. None of them. If you get swept by Philadelphia, then the thought that you maybe have to go to Philadelphia and beat this team when you just told me This defense in the fourth quarter could have psychological issues, is not great. So it's a must-win game. You're at home. Jayden Daniels fully healthy. And the Eagles are due a loss. With that being said, I've got Philadelphia. And the score is going to be, it's a close one though, 27-24 in overtime is what I have. So I do think it's going to be close because I do believe that playing at home, wanting to get our lick back, I do believe in that. And I do think that we end up playing them very, very close. I think the Eagles have been so good at finding a way to win. They do find a way to win. They secure the NFC East, but it sets up for one hell of a matchup next week against the Atlanta Falcons. So that's where I stand, 27-24. Player of the game on our end, Dante Fowler. I think he ends up having a nice day. No roughing the passers. He's able to get a couple sacks, maybe even force a fumble. But I do think Philadelphia finds a way to win this game. And once again, because this sometimes works cosmically, I hope I'm wrong. Whenever I say that, good things happen for us. So we're going to go ahead and see what happens.
2-point lead over you.
I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit. Commanders 10-5. You're 10-5. I'm 8-7. Fuck me. Don't care. That's awesome. Okay. Invested in this team.
The not so fun fact, which is just what you said early on in your prediction, just worse sounding. The Commanders are 0-4 against any team with a winning record.
That's what I mean. It's shit like that.
You said playoff team, but I'm like, no. Winning record. We haven't beat a team with a winning record yet. Which we are the only team in the NFL without a win against a team with a winning record.
Recalibrating. That's what we're doing.
Weird shit, guys. Weird.
But if we win, in year one of the recalibration, we beat a team on a 10-game win streak at our place. They're locked into the 2. We'll see you in 2-3 weeks. We are going to lose in the first playoff game, and we are running the table to get there.
Okay,
cool. Now, hey, listen. I love it, and I can see a win, just to be clear. Let's go over to bet of the week. K-Dot, what you got cooked up for us here?
Don't bet on this game.
Very good. On to the comment mailbag featuring our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
And thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. We're going to go ahead and begin with a missed comment. Oh my goodness. A missed comment from Tony. Shout out, Tony. Missed comment. I'll be in section 101, row 6 versus the Falcons. That's dope that you remembered, Amit. The bitch assness scale and A-Train party chart. Nasty work. A lot of crying, laughing emojis. That was excellent. Tony, I'm here to say I will also be at the Falcons game. So maybe we link up, grab a beer beforehand or something like that. Would absolutely love to see you, Tony. 101, row 6, though. Listen, I looked at the prices, couldn't afford that one. So I'm going to be in the 400 somewhere. But very, very excited for you. Those seats look awesome. K-Dot, your reaction.
Tony, if you go to the game, you're able to hang out with Amit, you might have spent more time in real life with him than me.
It's going to be close.
It'll be a toss-up by the end.
Welcome to District Divided DC Sports Podcast. We're specifically the Washington Commanders podcast. I'm Amit. That is Tony. Go ahead.
As far as the charts, I wouldn't say nasty work. It was necessary.
I don't know if necessary was necessarily the term for the A-Train party. I feel like I just caught a stray.
No, it's more about that broken condom and the rest of the stuff as far as the Bolivian candy chart. It's just to let people of Northern Virginia know, especially Clarendon, beware.
I always freeze up whenever you say shit like that. I always want to come
like, depending on what certain people do in this life, I'm not saying this is what A-Train does, but like certain people got to register on things. He hasn't quite gotten there. That's more Ridge, wear your helmet at. So for this particular thing, I think I'm just doing a service that doesn't exist quite yet.
Unbelievable. We go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Shout out Big Papa Grizzly. No matter how this season shakes out, we cannot end with a losing season. That's a huge dub for year one. First winning season in 8 years, K-Dot. First time since 2016 that we've had a winning season. Been awesome.
No, it's dope. Once again, future is bright. I still don't really give a fuck about the season as much as I care about the future of everything. Also, when somebody says "shake this out" or when it shakes out, is that a penis and piss? It's the only thing I think.
You're talking about Big Papa. No matter how the season shakes out, that's a very common sports
that phrase "shakes out." I always assume it's a dick, and it's pee coming out of like you got to shake out the rest of it. Is it? Am I? Is something?
I guess I kind of see what you're saying. I'd never thought about it.
Think about it every time. I might even visualize it.
That's very interesting. I don't, and I don't even think A-Train does. I don't know who that is though. We go over to D Smoke.
Therapy really short this week. I couldn't handle it. I need help.
I'm here to help. Remember, we could talk about why you're at your best.
I'm not. Movies will be the only thing that helped me through this.
Okay, cool. So he's actually screaming out to movies he hasn't seen yet. We go over to D Smoke. Shout out D Smoke. Man, K-Dot, you got me saying share this shit for any and everything now. When they missed the 2-point conversion, I yelled share this shit. K-Dot, your reaction.
We are changing the world, okay? This world needs a little more sharing. Sharing is caring, okay? Sharing is caring. So we have to all share this shit. Also, sidebar, the movie Red One really sucks.
Don't watch it. There's D-Smoke again. Didn't need to be a close game, but also feels good to win. But we got to make what we are supposed to be good at a lot better. The run game couldn't carry us, and Jayden Daniels was off on the deep ball. I hope we put it all together next week, and next week is arriving again this Sunday. It's just 1 p.m. game over at Northwest Stadium. K-Dot, your reaction to the comment?
Yeah, man, big game. Like, I'm excited. Like, I'm super excited for this one. After seeing the first matchup and knowing what's what with Jayden not being healthy the first time around and the short week, I'm just excited to see it. I think there's a good chance we get a mud hole stomped in this, right? But awesome. I just want to see it. If this is the only season I can remember for a very long time, maybe a couple. No, Taylor Heineken never got me there. I'm excited every Sunday. I am truly excited every Sunday. It's been a while since I didn't dread it.
Oh. Dude, before we get to the next D-Smoke comment, we get to watch one of the most exciting young quarterbacks every week, and he's our guy. That hasn't been true since RG3's rookie year.
Yeah, I guess it's true.
You know, so like,
it's not about the defense. Like, I love seeing Frankie Louvu out there.
Listen, I love what Joe Witt has done with the defense. It's been amazing. And Adam Peters has his work cut out for him this offseason, not just with the salary cap, but there were a lot of one-year deals to set the culture. How many does he bring back? I mean, and these are the next 3 games are going to be very, very telling, and hopefully, knock on wood, a playoff appearance as well. Still a ways to go before we get there. And D-Smoke one more time. Greg Joseph, St. Just, and Trent Scott need to go. Already playing the role of Adam Peters saying, hey, I got 3 quick ones that I want to get out of here. K-Dot, your reaction to that?
What the fuck is going on with the kicking situation? I didn't talk about that. What's happening?
Is going to kick this week, it looks like. Austin Seibert, again, on IR, so he can't kick the next 3 games. What we are currently dealing with are a couple pregnant wives. So Greg Joseph missed practice on Wednesday. So did Zane Gonzalez because both of their respective wives expecting. Zane and his wife, again, congratulations, had their child, I want to say yesterday. Okay. So, but Zane is now a full participant as well, even with the injury. So you put those things together, Zane looks good to go for this Sunday.
Got it. Cool. Also, I don't understand why Dwayne Johnson would make Red One. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's that bad. I'm 9 minutes in and I had to give up. It's really bad.
Azuma 909 goes, as ugly as the Saints win was, we aren't ready to beat the Eagles yet. But if we do lose, I think we will meet Philly in the playoffs, a chance at redemption. And I know K-Dot's focused 1 game at a time, so I'll go ahead and answer this one. If we do make the playoffs, very likely as the 7th seed, if we beat Philadelphia this week, very likely seeing Philadelphia. If we lose to Philadelphia, there's an outside chance we see either the Vikings or the Lions, the 2 seed there. But Philly in the playoffs, should we make it, is the most likely outcome. Would be awesome to beat them in the playoffs. Like, get swept and then it's like, oh, but beat you in that one. Sorry. See ya. That'd be sick. Go ahead, K-Dot.
No, I mean, it's a rivalry, right? And if we split the series and everything goes as far as the playoff game being like game of the year. Oh, look, all these playoff matchups, these teams that are like right there currently in it, it's all fun to me. I love all these varieties of matchups that we could potentially looking at. I think it's all good. And look, I want to beat these guys right now because I want to see them in the playoffs. Because I believe this team is one of these teams that like we're the ones that run into the fire, right? We're the ones that like we're doing hard shit with good people. It's like it's unlike what Chris Evans did by being in Red One, because like he left the MCU, which was a thing, but he hasn't really challenged himself with anything else yet, right? It's Red One, and he also is already back in the MCU as far as Wolverine and Deadpool. Although I'm sorry if I spoiled that for anybody, but it's like, why make Red One? Like it's just a ballless thing to do.
We go to Blood Clot. Oh, gee. I want us to be in the 6th seed because I think 7th seed plays Philly, and I don't want to play them again. I ain't scared, but I'm scared. And fuck you, McManus. Our kicker woes started with you. And for those that don't recall, McManus got into some legal trouble. It goes to court. I don't remember if there was an actual ruling, but it was like, you know what? We don't need this shit. So we cut McManus, and we've been on a bit of a carousel and whatever with the kickers right now. And McManus kicking pretty well for Green Bay is the current situation. So unfortunate. K-Dot, your reaction?
The position still needs to be eliminated, right? Like it's a useless thing to have. Like, I don't give a fuck how good you are as a kicker. I still don't think you should exist as far as your job goes. It's kind of like having an Academy Award-winning actor, J.K. Simmons, being in the movie Red One. Like, you did Whiplash. Like, you're the shit, right? But this role shouldn't exist. It just shouldn't exist. We love you. You're great. This shouldn't exist for you. Got to do something else, man.
Earl Bruce goes, the Saints game was certainly ugly. Favored by 7.5, the good guys won by 1. The football gods laughed and laughed, but allowed the Commanders to win. Whew. Now it's Eagles week, and even if the Commanders lose, they can still make the playoffs. We have a winning record, a great quarterback, and a youthful core to build around. Compared to the previous 24 years, I'm in heaven. When I was born, Curly Lambeau was the coach. Bill McPeak coached the first game I attended. Lombardi, Allen, and Gibbs followed. I've witnessed the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. So I say unto you from the Gibbs Bible, there is nothing new under the sun. What has been done will be done again. Count on it. There are Super Bowls to be won. So share this shit. Get out your reaction.
Snaps, man. Like I'm gonna put like that's the shit right there, man. I mean, I feel like I'm in the presence of Commanders fan royalty right now. The only thing I push back on it all is like the Saints were necessarily the bad guys, right? It's like they're too pitiful to be bad guys. Although I will say, a sidebar thing for me over the course of last week, I'm obsessed with Jake Haener. I don't understand this person. Like every time I see a photo or an interview, he is an enigma. I don't get it. He was terrible playing quarterback last week, but there's something about him. I think everybody knows where I'm kind of going with it, but I'm not going to go there. He's just an interesting dude.
Yeah, terrible. He was absolutely terrible, but was he worse than the movie Red One? And Brendan Nichols concludes the comment mailbag here.
I knew you were going to do it for me. Thank you, buddy.
Of course.
Keep it going.
No, it was a good bit. It was a good bit. K-Dot, please give me the All-22 breakdown of this film. It's just a YouTube clip that it's a link to it, so I can't click it, Brendan. And explain, maybe in graph form, why it's suggested to you that J.J. McCarthy would be better than Jayden Daniels. P.S. You should know by now that the comments only come, 1, on the reaction pod, and 2, if Jayden plays well. That's it.
See, I didn't know if the internet was going out. I didn't hear that. You almost sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. You ever watch like wah, 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 wah. Like I wish like you know what should have been the case? Like, yep, I'm guessing because I couldn't hear that and we're in the common mailbag. Brendan and his bitch ass and this is back. Is that accurate?
It does appear so. It depends on the YouTube link. Could be the trailer to Red One.
The only thing he could do to help me out at this particular point is he should have wrote the script for Red One. That way I wouldn't have been able to hear the motherfucker.
Oh, clever. And that was the show. And this was the common mailbag. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Really hoping I didn't miss any comments. I did uncheck all the filters. I'm Amit, that is K. And if you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K.
You know what to do, guys. Say it everywhere you are. You know, man, it's becoming the thing. I know. You want to say it's a life principle. It's something you got to live by, right? You gonna say it with me. Everybody's gonna say it with me, okay? On three. On three.
All right.
1, 2. Red One
Don't watch
terrible.
Red One.
It's so bad.
Nailed it.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. And then share this shit. Share it.
Yeah, share this shit. Share this shit. And if you're friends with somebody, make sure they don't watch Red One. After the pod begins right now. All right, we'll wrap up quickly before your internet busts again. So you loved Red One, huh?
Fuck you. I watched so many fucking movies. But last night I turned off. I made it to 9 minutes and 11 seconds in the movie. And I was like, I can't do this.
Wow. Symbolic.
The first Chris Evans scene was like, we're going for pluckiness. It's like Chris Evans pluck. I don't want this. And then Dwayne Johnson being super serious. And I'm like, I get what he's going for. I'm just not ready for this. So I watched another movie instead called Red Rooms. And that motherfucker was good.
What was it called?
Red Rooms.
So you were just in a red mood, huh?
I didn't think about that. I really did. Have you ever heard the terminology Red Room?
No.
Okay. So
2023 horror film?
Yeah, but it's
96% Rotten Tomatoes. Okay.
It's a Canadian movie, mostly in French, because Quebec, and it was a doozy. The general concept of the movie is basically about what Red Rooms are these urban legend to a certain degree about something in the dark web where you can pay a certain fee and to see someone torture and murder somebody on the live stream. And the movie's kind of centered around a case, a court case, about a potential serial killer, whether or not he's guilty or anything, killing 3 teenage girls and a woman who has this curiosity about the case and what that does as far as where her curiosity will go. It's pretty fucking demented, but I really, really liked it. Also, I did watch another movie over the course of the last few days that cracked my top 4, I think, overall for the year.
Oh, okay. Well, which one was that?
Well, you know what? Actually, I should say there were 2 that cracked my top, top 10, top 5, maybe.
Wow.
Number 1 is Sing Sing.
Sing Sing.
Which was a Coleman Domingo. The movie came out early this year, but was like in 10 theaters. And everybody loved it. And then it got pulled from the theater. I remember they were only showing in Baltimore for like 2 or 3 days, and I missed it. I think it was out of town. And then A24 let them put it on Prime, and you could rent it. And then they pulled it off of Prime after a few days. And now it's going to get a theater re-release in January. But I was very fortunate enough that somebody was able to hook me up with a copy.
This looks dope. I'm reading about Sing Sing now. This looks really cool.
Damn good movie. And Coleman Domingo right now, as of right now, in all the movies that I've seen, he is clearly the favorite to win Best Actor. Still got to see Timothy Chalamet next week on in the Bob Dylan movie, and I also got to see Adrian Brody in The Brutalist. I'm hearing either one of those potentially take Coleman Domingo's, but goddamn, he did a damn good job in that movie. And then the other one that did crack my top 10, which was a movie that I was looking forward to seeing like all year, was How to Have Sex.
Okay.
For some, an instructional manual. Right. It's on, if you don't have Mubi, which is not Tubi. Tubi's where all the shit movies go. Mubi is another app that you can buy, or you can do a free trial. I actually,
you know what? I'm not going to Google this. I just realized.
It's a damn good movie, and as a matter of fact, that bitch ass, the Brendan, he watched it last night, and he called me right afterwards to tell me how much he fucking adored the movie. It's a damn good movie.
So you're both in agreement there. Great movie.
Both in agreement there. He also saw Jury Number 2, but that's something I had already seen. But I try to
on your list. I want to say
it's on my list.
Yeah.
Look, there are a lot of movies that will end up streaming, but they'll put it in the theater for a few days or like a week beforehand. I try to see everything I can in the theater, but now we're reaching that time of year where I'm trying to watch like at least 3 a day.
movie you're most looking forward to seeing as we wrap up here? Most looking forward to seeing before our recap episode?
Oh shit. I do have the watch. I have a watch list. I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit a bunch of documentaries. I think between today and tomorrow. So the number one would probably be it's called Dahomey.
Okay, Dahomey.
Yeah, it's a it's about royal artifacts in a West African country and what's happening as far as like the French colonists and they took the items and stuff. It's supposed to be very, very interesting shit. Okay. But yeah, I gotta get through all my documentaries because I treat those just as importantly as I do any of the other films.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys for the recap episode. It's going to be a Monday 6 a.m. drop. So until then, take it easy. Do not watch Red One.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.